Hello, everyone. I am Crystal Sterling, and welcome to Chrystal Clear Moments. And this is a platform that God has called me to establish to talk about my experience and journey in dealing with a sibling that was killed by police brutality. And he has called me to talk about my experience, talk about my grieving process, talk about moments that changed my heart, mind, and soul, that helped me overcome some of my emotions and feelings and things of that nature. And he wants me to share all of my experience in order to help others get through their experience as well. Whether you were a sibling, mother, father, sister, brother, whoever, friend, just whoever you are, I hope that me sharing my experience will help you get through some of your good days and some of your bad days as well. So, over these past few months in, all the coronavirus and being on quarantine, I have really had time to sit, think, study God's word, meditate, pray, listen to what he has to say. And he's been speaking loud and clear to me. And starting this platform is one of the things that he has continuously been pushing me to do. I was very, and still am, very nervous about doing these videos, but I feel like I am doing the right thing. So whether this video and my purpose in doing this is to just help one person or a whole lot of people, it is all worth it in the end, because very much of my experience in my journey through this, I felt alone despite having a lot of people around me. And it's just so much that goes on in your mind, in your body, and sometimes it's just really hard to function. You push through because part of you is like, I gotta push through and do this, and then other times it's like I can't. So I hope that these videos are, and these other posts that I will be doing, will encourage your hearts and just help you to believe in yourself, and with your faith be able to trust God to help you through these situations. And I think it's very needed because we are in a time where, the nations are rising up to speak against police brutality and the injustice and mistreatment of Black and brown people in this world. And in addition to, you're losing people by the hands of police, but we're also losing lives through this pandemic of the coronavirus. And individuals and family members are leaving this world in a traumatic way, and we, being the ones that's left here, have to be able to deal and cope with all of that, as we continue to live our lives. So I just hope that I am an inspiration, and I am definitely open up my heart, and I'm being vulnerable, and I am very open to share my experience with you and to speaking to you all through the various social media platforms. So I have established a YouTube channel, an Instagram account, and a Facebook account, all entitled Chrystal Clear Moments. And all of these videos and my different posts will be posted on all of those social media platforms so that you can share these events or these videos and different things that I will post with with others and people that you feel like need to see it, and you can share it with whoever. This is definitely like not for me, but mostly for you all. It will help me as I continue to go through my healing process and my journey. But definitely, this is a sacrificial way of me giving myself away in order to help other people. So, just to give a little background on my story, my brother's story. So, I'm not going to go into a whole lot of details because you definitely can, look everything up online. A lot of it was definitely publicized. But basically, on the morning of September 11th, 2016, my brother, who was Terrence Sterling, was shot in the neck and in the back while being on his motorcycle, blocked against a curb at 3rd and M Streets in Northwest DC by an individual cop named Brian Trainer, and he shot him from sitting in his cop car. And I also always mentioned Jordan Palmer, who was the individual black cop that was driving, the cop car. Brian Trainer is a white male who shot my brother. And I believe that it was all premeditated. They had already made in their minds of what they were going to do. They received a call that there was a individual on a motorcycle driving erratically throughout the streets of DC. No definite description of who the person was, but Brian Trainer and Jordan Palmer sat at 3rd and M with their sirens off, lights on the cop car off, nothing on, and blocked my brother as he got to that light at that intersection. And with my brother's hands unarmed, hands on the handlebars still, Brian Trainer brings out his gun and shoots him in the back and in the neck. And basically, my brother dies instantly. The cops had to get out the car and take my brother's hands off of the handlebars and put him on the ground in order to start CPR to try to resuscitate him. But that wasn't going to do anything because he was already gone. So, and thank God that there was witnesses that actually saw everything happening, because there were other cars at the intersection. And thankfully that they were able to speak up and, tell the truth. And so basically from that, throughout a 2-year span of, legal things that they have to do and all of that, basically Brian Trainer was eventually fired from the police department. And Brian Trainer, as far as I know, I don't really keep up with him, but at the time he was still working. He was off, both were off with paid leave the whole entire time, and nothing happened to Jordan Palmer, but Brian Trainer was fired. They were not charged for murder, and that is definitely what happened. And so during that whole I can honestly say it's almost been September this year will be 4 years. And up until these last few months, I had been on and off struggling really bad at times. And only a few core people like really actually knew what was really going on. And to have to continue to live life, losing a brother, my only other sibling, it's just me now. To lose him so tragically, not to be able to have conversations or have a conversation with him before he actually left. Like, they just took his life without thinking about the consequences of their actions. And they definitely took someone that was so positive, that was such a positive person, such a valuable asset to his family, his community, his friends, the people he worked for. So valuable and had so much more life to live. And for two individuals to make the decision that this person here, I'm going to choose this person here, he's breaking the law and I don't want him to get away. Mind you, they're not supposed to be chasing individuals on motorcycles in DC anyway, which is against the law. And they just decided, well, we gonna get this one. And they got him, unfortunately. But they definitely took someone that would have been such a positive change agent person within his community. He was already doing it while he was living. And I know each and every person that was connected to him in some way. Whether you met him one time, he was rememberable. And if you had a relationship with him, you definitely miss him every single day. Every single day. And I didn't think that I was going to be able to make it through continuing to live life without him being here. And at times I didn't want to live. At times I felt good and I felt like, okay, yeah, I can do this. I got this. I can do this. I'm fine. And ultimately, I had to realize that I can't do it on my own by myself. I need those core people, close people, people that are going to give me positive reinforcement, people that are going to speak into my life, speak positivity into my life, to show love unconditionally, to actually physically be there, emotionally be there, mentally, be there, consistently be there. And then I needed to be in the church, submerge myself in prayer in order to get through this. So I'm grateful for those, my close inner court of family and friends that checked on me consistently all the time and showed up when they needed to. I'm grateful for that. And then I'm grateful for, church family that know that prayer works, family members that know that prayer works, friends that know that prayer works, and for praying for me and my family. And then, a lot of it's interesting that since everything happened, um, initially, a lot of my brother's friends did not know that he had a sister. And if they did know, they did not know who I was. he he protected me for whatever reason. I always called him little big brother. We're 3 years apart. I'm older than him and he's younger than me, but he definitely was taller and he looked older than I was. So that's why I called him little big brother. But um, I am grateful for every single one of his male friends that every now and then, some more often than others, legit would call, text, find me on social media, send a message, say I'm thinking about you, ask about my parents, come by the house, all of that. I am sincerely grateful that you all are doing that. And for me personally, I am asking that you continue because it does help. And I've said that to those of you that have done and are continuously doing that. And during these times where, everyone's marching all over the world against racism and police brutality, and you all have texted and called and checked up on us, and I thank you for that. That helps. It helps us to keep going. It helps us to, stay positive. It helps us to know that our brother had an impact and you really care. Um, so we're thankful. And we just ask that you continue to pray and, continue to, check up on us. Every little bit helps. When you don't do anything and you don't make your presence known, sometimes people feel like you don't care. And I know for some instances or for whatever reasons, that's not necessarily the case, but making an effort to not think of yourself and think of someone else speaks volumes. It speaks volumes. And when you do that consistently, it speaks even louder. So just continue to do that. Continue to do that for us. Continue to do that for other people that are in your life. Like you have, those of you that are dealing with the loss of a loved one, you have to be able to channel that positive energy within you towards helping someone else. Be of service. You might not have to say anything, but doing something makes a difference as well. You have to, feel all those feelings of, anger, denial, disappointment, all of those things. It's very normal and natural for the grieving process, but we all can't stay angry and just stay in that mindset, in that darkness. We can't stay there. Everything happens for a reason. And I always asked God from the beginning, why? Like, why? Why? Just why? And I haven't truly understood why until a few months ago. And the why is because, one, that's the way, unfortunately, he had to go. Can't change it. But the why is for me to be an example of how you can experience this and how, with God, you can get through it. And that you can actually speak and help other people through it too. You didn't go through all of this just for you to be silent and not say anything, because I said nothing for a long time. I didn't want to, because I had to feel all those feelings over and over again, and I was just suppressing and not dealing with actually what was going on in my heart and in my soul. And never liked feeling that way, but it was almost like I had no choice. My body and my mind were doing something on its own, and I had no control over it. But I had to get to the point where I had to mentally make the decision that I don't want to continue to live my life like this. Okay, what do I need to do in order to help myself get better and be better? And so I did my work, and continuing to do my work so that I could be doing this right now to help someone else. So through the other videos that I will be posting, I will be, starting to talk into more detail about my experience and the things that I went through and how I dealt with it and how I've gotten to this point right now. But I just, with this first video, just wanted to introduce myself and ultimately say to all of you that are grieving, that are hurting, it's okay. Feel those feelings. You are not wrong. Being a human being and feeling what you're feeling and going through situations, there's nothing wrong with it. What can make things wrong is how you handle and the actions that you take in response to what has happened to you. So for me, I was never a person that, because I was angry about whatever that happened, I wanted to, I intentionally went out and did something else that was wrong. That was not my situation. Mind you, did I think things? Oh, yes. Definitely thought some things, but never acted. So voicing how you feel is nothing wrong with that. But we need to be able to channel the energy, assess it, feel it, assess it, take it for what it is. And then it's like, okay, now how am I going to deal with this? Okay, how am I going to react to this? And we have to find a positive outlet to get rid of that energy. And there are various different ways of how to do that, because no one person deals with situations the same way. So I am not going to specifically tell you what to do into that, but I just want you to use that energy in a positive manner. Mind you, perfect example is we don't like racism. It's not right. Police brutality is wrong. So peacefully protesting is a positive way to use that energy of the anger that you're feeling. Perfect example. So I just want to encourage all of you that you all are loved by God. He hears you. He understands you. He cares for you. And that with His help, you can get through it. You can. You can do it. You can. I hope you hear me. You can. There is nothing that's too hard for God, and God will never give you a load that you aren't able to carry. Mind you, you may not be able to carry it by yourself. Other people may be able to need to help carry the load for you and with you. But you can handle it. You can get through it. And you will be a much better, positive, stronger person on the other side of it. And then you too will be able to help other people. So it's very interesting, and I'll end on this note, is that there's a song that I have been listening to multiple times during the day, on rotation every single day since I started listening to it, since I heard it. And it's called Respond by Travis Green. Love that song. Love that song. And the chorus basically says, when I call you, when he calls you, will you respond? When he calls you, will you respond? Kind of paraphrasing. When he calls you, will you come running to his arms? Ultimately, you want to respond when God calls you. When I call you, I will respond. When I call you, I will respond. When I call you, I will come running to your arms. I will respond to you. You want, and I know that during this time, God is speaking to a lot of people. When He's calling you and you hear Him and you know it's Him, are you going to respond? Are you going to run to God's arms? Are you going to run into His presence and say, Lord, I hear you. What is it that you want me to do? Stay in that place, stay in His presence, hear what He has to say, and then we actually have to do it. Every time I listen to that song, it makes me cry. Because I've gotten to the point where I hear God all the time, but I hear Him so clearly speaking to me, and what I'm doing right now, speaking into this camera, is totally out the box. But I am at a point where I want to be free. I am freer in my mind, spirit, heart, soul, my entire being than I've ever been since 2016 when my brother passed. I am so much lighter. My heart is so much lighter. I am so much fuller of joy and spirit. And that would not have happened if I did not go and run into His presence when He called me. When He called me. Everyone has a purpose and a calling upon their life. No matter how big or small someone thinks that it is, it's important, and only you can do it. Only I can speak about my experience and share it with you. My experience is not the same as someone else's experience. So, whatever God is telling you to do, be mindful that that mission and that call is for you. And the people that will receive or is supposed to be the recipients of whatever you're supposed to be doing, whatever your call is, maybe those people will only be reached through you. They're the individuals that you're supposed to be talking to. And so I take responsibility for knowing that as well. And I don't want to disappoint God. I don't want to disappoint anyone. So nothing's been scripted in what I'm saying. I'm speaking from the heart, and that's a great place to start. So I just want you all to know that you are strong. You can do it. And to listen when God calls you. So everyone, I want you to respond. Okay? And so this has been the first crystal clear moment that you and I have experienced together. So I hope you have heard something that has touched your heart and will motivate you to be a better you and to ultimately go and help someone else and serve through love. Through love. The only way change will happen in some instances is people have to change their hearts. We gotta love and show love unconditionally. So I love you, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and take heed to every moment that you experience, because it has meaning. Okay? So I thank you all for listening. I'm so grateful. Until next time, bye bye.